Good afternoon, everyone. It is Friday the 25th of March 2022. I'm Sarah and you are very welcome to my YouTube channel all about cross stitch called Sew Me Sarah. Thank you to those of you who've been here before and have come back for a little bit more chat and stitchy goings on. And those of you who are new, I hope that you like what you see here, that you will engage with me in the comments below. Let me know where you're watching from and join in with our community here at Sew Me Sarah. Since the last time that I videoed, we have had spring arrive. I'm not sure how long it's going to last for, but this week it is absolutely glorious outside. And we are having temperatures which are actually closer to our summer temperatures. Today it is even 18 degrees Celsius, and really here we're doing well if we get 18 in July. So yeah, it's been really beautiful spring weather and we're enjoying that, and I'm enjoying that it has put smiles on lots of people's faces. It definitely makes everybody have a lighter step when there's sunshine around. So that has been fun to enjoy. I wanted to say thank you to you all for chipping in with your thoughts on my fabric dilemma for my August month of La Finestra del Tempo Sal. You will see shortly the results of that, how that worked out. Did I follow your advice or did I do my own thing? And what was your advice anyway? So thank you all very much for chipping in with your thoughts on the two fabric choices that I showed last time. I also want to thank you for letting me know what your market favourites were. So it's no surprise that Blackbird Designs and Brenda Gervais really come out top, but we've been spoiled for choice with these market releases, so it will be fun to see as people receive their charts and start their projects, which ones are coming out favourite. But I think it's fair to say that Blackbird and Brenda Gervais will probably hang on to those spots. But there's so much else available, and I've already seen lots on Instagram, as I'm sure you have too, of folks stitching up a storm with the market releases. So thank you for sharing that. It's always nice to know what everybody is enjoying. I have managed not to buy anything yet from market. Yeah, I'm very, very tempted, but over in the corner I have boxes of whips and kitted projects that are squealing at me. They're a little bit like the toys from Toy Story, you know, they're on the watch for the new arrivals, and they want to be sure that their own position and their own favourite spots are not going to be ousted by something new popping through the letterbox. So I'm being kind, and I haven't really I haven't ordered any of the market releases. That said, I did introduce one kit this week, and I have a question for you actually. Have you ever donated something to charity shop or to Goodwill only to buy it back again? I've done exactly that with cross stitch. So this week on eBay I came across this pattern, the Lilliput Lane Bookshop, and sorry, it's not just a pattern, it is a whole kit. And many years ago I had this kit, brand new, pristine, and just 2 years ago I gave it away. So you may have heard me refer to it before, but a couple of years ago we were expecting to move house. I thought at one point we would be downsizing, but we were having a really good clear out. I was not cross-stitching at that point, and I got rid of everything that I had, all of my kits and whips that I had. Now there weren't that many, there were maybe a dozen at the time, but I had a number of kits and whips that I passed on to other folk who would like to stitch them. And this Lilliput Lane chart was one of them. I hadn't started it, it was just the full kit. And I've always well, not always, but since I came back to stitching, this is the only one that I've thought, oh, I should have probably held on to that. And it's just got a connection because I have a degree in literature. I love reading, albeit that I don't read as much anymore. But I just always loved the bookshop, and yeah, so I did donate mine. I gave it away, but I have purchased it back again from eBay. So anyway, that's a bit of crazy, but my patterns, my other kits and patterns, needn't worry too much because this isn't going to be stitched anytime soon. So that's just a little bit of nonsense really to share with you, but I wonder how many of you have ever donated something to the charity shop and then gone back and purchased it again. It is really the same principle. I wanted to say thank you also to you, and so does hubby, for all of your encouragement and your kind words about his penny whistle playing on the last video. We're really delighted that you enjoyed a little bit of Irish music for St. Patrick's Day. I hope that whatever celebrations you had, that you enjoyed them. So anyway, thank you. Hubby was really delighted with all of the comments, and he said, everybody is so nice. And I said, I know. So the only thing that I will say about, first of all, I had to apologize because I misinformed you as to the title of the music. It was not Welcome to California, which was the piece I think he was going to play, but then he changed his mind. And the piece he actually played was called the Ballydesmond Polka. Sorry, I had to check the notes to get it right. The Ballydesmond Polka. So for those of you who know anything about music and who might have noticed my error, I apologize. I also just want to say that at this point, I am not going to be letting any more family members onto my Flosstube because they are all show stealers. So that's all I'm going to say about that. Let's move on to some stitching. Today I wanted to show you another of my previous finishes. I keep walking past this one, it hangs in my hallway upstairs, and I keep thinking I will show it to you, but I forget to bring it down. So today I brought it down, and I'm quite sure that many of you will recognize this piece and will know exactly when I stitched this. So way back, probably in the early 90s, I would have stitched this piece, and it is one of the DMC kits from All Our Yesterdays. And this one, I believe, was called First Post. At the time that I stitched this, I stitched a couple of other designs that had post boxes in them. There was a Country Companions one with a hedgehog postman, and I can't remember what the other one was, but I know I stitched 2 or 3 post boxes around that time. It was, well, post boxes were kind of important to me at that stage in my life. Alan and I were together but apart, and we spent a lot of time building our relationship by good old-fashioned snail mail. So I had a thing for post boxes, probably because I had a thing for him, but there you go. Don't tell him I told you. So that is one of my previous finishes. This has not hung in the house all of these years, but as I said a couple of years ago, we did quite a bit of work in our house, and I found this one again, and it hadn't been up in this house at all. It did hang in our very first home, but it hadn't hung in this house. So I reframed it, and now I'm able to have it up again. And I know it's very dated and of its time, but that doesn't make it any less enjoyable. Sorry for the glare on it, but so that is the previous finish that I wanted to share with you. I'm just gonna set it over this way. And then, are you ready? I have my fully finished object, which is the August month of La Finestra del del Tempo by Crochet a Gogo. This is part of the stitch along that I'm doing on Instagram, and you're welcome to have a look, join in. The hashtag is down below. It's Finestra del Tempo style. And I finished the August one, and the winner of the fabric vote was the blue oval elements fabric, the deeper blue, not the paler aqua gingham. So which one do you think I went with? Ready? Ta-da! I took your advice. So this was the out and out winner, really. There were only a few votes for the aqua gingham. And really your comments on both fabrics were exactly in line with my own thoughts. So those of you who voted for aqua gingham thought it looked a little bit more summery, but the majority of folks thought that this blue fabric suited the design better and fitted in with the actual stitched colours. So I think my fear was just that this one might appear too dark, but I don't think it does now that you really actually don't see very much, only seeing about 1/4 of an inch either side and all around. So thank you, and I think it looks super. So that is the August stitch. I'm looking forward to moving on into the September stitch come April. So there are others who are stitching along under the hashtag on Instagram, so if you'd like to see what everyone is doing, please pop along there and have a peek. That was my only fully finish this month, or well, this time. I also have some whips, quite a few whips. I feel like I was fluttering around like a butterfly between projects the last few weeks, but I think that's by virtue of the fact that I've got 16 whips now. My Sweet 16 board is full, so no more new starts until I clear something, but I have, there is a new start to show you today that filled the board, but no more until I clear something. So I have 16 on the go, and I think a lot of them are actually quite big and not terribly far along, and so that makes me want to do a little bit on everything to keep everything going, because I feel like things are slipping behind. So that might explain why there's quite so much flitting between posts, but it does mean that I've got several things to show you today. The first is my stitch of Mirror by Modern Folk Embroidery. This is a freebie pattern that Jacob has released in support of Ukraine, and it is on his Modern Folk Embroidery website if you would like to get a copy, and he also has provided various links to other information and other ways that we can show our support, and I've talked about some of the other things that you can do on my previous videos. But anyway, this is one of the charts that I thought I would stitch, and I showed last time that I had literally just started on the dark blue border, and I'm now this far along. So it's not focusing very well. Let's see, hopefully you can see that. I am using a 32 count antique white Murano and 2 sulky threads, a variegated yellow and a variegated blue. And I'm really enjoying the stitch. It's really a very delicate and pretty stitch. The borders are very solid, but inside it's delicate and pretty. And I really just need to join up the borders, finish in the little yellow details, and then do the word. So it probably won't take very much longer to bring this one to a conclusion. And then I'm not quite sure how I will finish it after that, but that's okay. I've got time to think about that. I am looking forward to seeing it finished, and yeah, that is Mirror. Next up is Love Lives Here by Country Cottage Needleworks. Today you're going to see a lot of all types of seasons and holidays in my stitching. So there's Valentine's, there's some spring, Easter, there's some Christmas. So yeah, we're just hopping about all across the year. This is a pattern, as I said, by Country Cottage Needleworks, and I was working on it on a 32 count linen. I think it's a mystery linen. No, sorry, it is Winter Moon Belfast linen from Swigart, and I have used all of the DMC that was called for except the red. So the pattern calls, oh sorry, I'm not holding that up enough. The pattern calls for DMC 321 and I replaced it with DMC 326, which is just a little bit deeper. So I worked mostly in the house. I finished the windows, I've put on some of the striping, and I made a start on the roof. So it's, when I touch this, then I'll fill in the roof as I go along, so that it's not just quite so much work all at one go. Then on this side here, these little fences will be repeated, and then there are little trees with hearts to go in. So I'm enjoying this stitch. I did think it would be quicker than it has been, but it doesn't matter. There's no real big hurry, and I have enjoyed making just a little bit of progress again. Then I picked up, just one evening, I picked up the Kiss for a Snowman, which I've not pulled out. There we go. It's a DMC, it's not a DMC, it's a Dimensions Gold Collection Petite called A Kiss for Snowman. And I have just, need to switch a board, sorry. I just finished off the main parts of his face. You can see it's really coming to life. And these grey parts are the beginnings of the ribbing on his hat, woolly hat, like so. So I love how the variety of stitches, so some are half stitches, some are full stitches, different shadings, blended threads. They really do, they are an artwork, and they really do bring a little picture to life. So not a huge amount of progress, but there's a lot of detail in the stitches and a lot of counting. So I enjoyed that for an evening. And then I told you we'd be hopping about the seasons. That was Christmas, and now we're moving to Easter. And I worked some more on the Caterpillar cross stitch Easter Blooms pattern. As you can see here, I switched out all of the DMC colours except 725, which I kept, and everything else is pretty much a close approximation of what was called for. So where it's a deep pink, I've used a deep pink. The only one I changed was the very top one, which is supposed to be a blue, and I changed it to a purple, a lilac colour. And this is the result so far. So there's quite dense stitching on the bigger motifs like the chick, and there's big flowers here and here, but it is lovely. And it's just been fun. I like to work on this one if I'm up early in the morning. Quite a few mornings I awaken before everyone else, and I just try to be quiet, not to waken anyone else before it's time. And this one is quite good because it's on a 14 count cream Ada, which I can see early in the morning without too much need of my glasses or my magnification and lighting. So it's a nice easy one to start the day with. And I don't get very much done, usually just, you know, a few stitches here and there in the mornings, and then it just takes a back seat to whatever else is happening in the day. But I'm enjoying watching it come together a little bit at a time. It would be nice to have this one finished for Easter. I doubt that I'll get it fully finished, but it would be nice to have the stitches in before Easter actually arrives, but who knows. I'm just not sure how much of my time is my own at the moment, but it doesn't matter. I will stitch when I can and enjoy the stitches. So the next one is a bit bigger. Let me see if I can just bring it up here. The next piece I worked on, I spent an entire weekend trying to finish the March section. So this is Modern Folk Embroideries, a family patchwork sampler, and this was the stitch along that Jacob released in 2020. So I didn't know about Modern Folk Embroidery back in 2020, and I found this last year. I thought it was beautiful and wanted to stitch, so I've never been trying to keep up with any stitch alongs on it. But this chart was released originally in 12 monthly parts, and it was broken up into 4 parts across and 3 parts down. So January, February, March, April. So I am about here. I've done about this much, and I'll show you my progress. Every time I stitch on this, I wish I didn't have to put it down. So I absolutely love working on it. So as I said, I've come all the way over, and I think the T and the U up here, they are the beginning of the April chart, the 4th release. But at least I have finished the March release, and you'll see that I carried some of my threads on down and finished some bits of the motifs. I'm sorry, I'm really wobbling and shaking this. This is stitched on antique white 32 count Murano from Zweigart, and I'm using DMC 3832, which is a gorgeous lipstick pink colour. So I'm really enjoying that. I have as I've been stitching, I have left some areas blank. So the chart would have maybe something in here and here and here. And what Jacob had in there were family initials. I think there are some along the bottom here as well. Because it's called a family patchwork sampler, and he had family initials sprinkled, if you like, across the chart. I haven't decided yet which initials are going on and which ones are going where, and that is something I will do at the end. So as I make progress, you may see other areas that look a little bit odd, that look like something has been left out or forgotten, and indeed it has, but that is my drama, not Jacob's. So I will go back and work those in one side aside what I'm doing and work out exactly how many there are to be filled. So that was a weekend's progress on that one. Just trying to make sure it doesn't fall, sorry. And then I picked up, this week, I picked up a pattern that I haven't worked on for a while. I'm actually gonna swap it onto this board so that maybe you can see it a bit better. And this one is by Liz Matthews. Hello from Liz Matthews, and it was, I believe it was a release last year, and it's called Gather Here. I love it. I think it looks like a woodcut print, and Liz's was in a dark colour called Smokestack. It was a silk, I believe. Yeah, called Smokestack, so it was a dark charcoal grey colour. But I have chosen to stitch mine in Weeks Dye Works Glacial Melt. And there it is there. So I got off to a really good start on this project last year and then just got sidetracked by everything else, and so I left it with this much done. So this week I've picked it up a few nights and I've managed to stitch in a few more of the leaves and berries, and so the bird starts up here, so that will be exciting to see him go in due course. So this one is, it's a lot of counting. It's nice because it's not all filled in, so you're not having to do all the fill in on the stitches, but it does mean that you have to count a lot. So not for a very tired night, that one. But I'm enjoying that, and I still love the glacial melt. I'm really, really happy with that fabric choice. And this is I believe it's silver grey Murano 32 count. So you can tell that a lot of the projects I started last year on 32 count Murano. And I still love it as a fabric. It's pretty good. And there's that one. And then I had a new start. And I know I have so many big projects, probably shouldn't have started a new start, but there was a space on the board, you know, the Sweet 16 board had room, and I have been wanting for so long, I have been wanting to stitch a Glitter Village. And I'm sure you all know Glitter Village, but just in case you don't, it is a 9-part pattern by Country Cottage Needleworks. This is 1 part. It is, if you're going to stitch them all together, the layout that's given is 3 by 3, and that's what I would like to do. I'm not going to stitch them as ornaments, I hope. I hope I get them all stitched together. It's 3 by 3. Now, I want to ask you, have you got a violin handy? Can you play some sad, doleful music and listen to my tale of woe? So I've been wanting to stitch Glitter Village for a long time, and it took me a while to pull the chart together, to get them ordered in here in the UK. When I finally managed to get that happening, then I had other commitments and I just haven't been able to get a chance to start. So this week I was really, or last week perhaps, yeah, I think it was last week, I was really happy to be able to create a little bit of time for a new start. And I pulled out all the fabric and the threads. So I'm using the called for linen, which is 32 count raw silver, I believe. 32 count Belfast, it's a Swigart fabric, sparkle natural silver. And it's lovely, it looks lovely, but I've never stitched on this before. And the night that I started this, I thought I was never going to stitch on it again. So to say that I had teething troubles with the fabric is an understatement. But the good news is that I was able to get over my huffing and move on. So initially, I was stitching, I started with this top little banner of white snow or whatever it is, and I think I got it about at least halfway done, if not more than halfway done, 3 times, and had to unpick. I found that the sparkle in the fabric was really distracting. It really threw my eye and was pulling my eye to a different hole, the wrong hole, so that I wasn't putting the needle into the right hole. And I was trying really hard to figure out how to make this better, but it just wasn't happening. So I unpicked and I threw it aside in a bit of a huff. And then the next morning, I had a little bit of time while Charlotte was at school and before I had to go to work myself. And I thought I would have a go again and see, could I improve my ability to stitch on this fabric, because I really didn't want to give up at the first hurdle. And you can see that I made progress, so I didn't have to give up, and it was worth it was worth persevering and practicing and trialing a few things. So I tried it in the Q-snap, but I don't know, I just wasn't, it just didn't sit comfortably in the Q-snap or something for me. Sometimes I'm comfortable with Q-snaps and sometimes I'm not. You can see that in the end I put it in a hoop because there's a hoop mark on this. So I put it in the hoop, and that helped to kind of open the stitching holes a little bit with a little bit of tension on the fabric. And I also turned off the direct light. So when I had started this initially, it was nighttime and I was in the living room and I had my light and magnifier on, and the light, the direct light reflecting of the sparkle in the fabric was the majority of the problem. So I noticed that in the morning time, because I was sitting in the bay window in the living room, in my stitchy chair, in there, there's good natural light and I didn't need direct light on it, and that really, really helped. So there wasn't as much reflection back. So that would be my tip if you are struggling, is to try not to have direct light. So that isn't much use to if you only have nighttime stitchy time, but if you can, reduce your light source. So I did try this again at night as well, and I dimmed my light and I was able to do a bit as well. My eyes probably get more tired, so I don't stitch for just as long on it, but I can now stitch on it at night with the light dimmed quite a bit. So for most other pieces of work, I'll turn my light right up as high as it'll go. But for this one with the reflection, it works much better with the light toned down a little bit. So those would be my tips if you are struggling with the fabric. You can see that I did get there. And after the trouble just of stitching on the fabric, the actual metallic thread, which is just around the doorposts, was really no bother at all. After the whole rigmarole of actually getting even just the ordinary floss through the fabric. So I am thrilled that I don't have to abandon Glitter Village, and I'm glad that I don't have to change the fabric, that I can go ahead and use the sparkle fabric, because I do think for Glitter Village that it will make a difference. So the good news is that it is now spring and summer, and this weekend our clocks go forward, which gives us a little bit more daylight in the evenings, so that should be longer daylight hours for some stitching on this too. So that is the first part of Glitter Village. I have a little bit more to do across the bottom and a few snowflakes to fill in, but not too much. So I'm happy with that in the end and relieved not to have to abandon it. So that is really all of my stitching at the moment. I have plans just to keep continuing that. I don't know if I'll keep flitting about like a butterfly. I do think that my projects at the moment are, as I said, they're big and they're quite far from completion, so I feel like I'm doing lots of little bits but not pushing anything over the line. I don't know if that's going to begin to annoy me because I like to have finishes flowing, but sure, we'll see what happens. There's really not any rules. It's me that made up the rules, so I can change them. I do have some gift stitching that I want to tackle, and obviously when you're doing that there are more deadlines involved, and so I might switch some things out for that in the next few weeks and months, just to allow time to get those gifts stitched up on time. But we'll see, we'll just keep it all fun, isn't that what this is about? So I have some happy mail that I would like to share with you. Yesterday I went to the front door and the postman had delivered my COVID tests, which was not very exciting, but he had delivered my LFT tests, and there was a parcel sat outside on the doorstep. And when I opened the door, there was a big fat chunky envelope all the way from Australia from Terry. So Terry, thank you so much. Your parcel arrived safely and I'm delighted, and you really had no need at all. But thank you. Thank you very, very much, Terry. So Terry very kindly sent some lovely patterns that she has finished with. So she sent Garden Birds of Australia. I like this cheeky chappy down here, isn't he nice? And she sent this Rosewood Manor Black Lace sampler. There's some beautiful elements in here which would be wonderful to stitch even just on their own. And she sent a few others as well. So there's a nice Sue Hillis, and then a lovely needlework shop, the Serenity Prayer, and this one called La Trappistine. Hope I said that correctly. So Terry has given me permission to stitch these or pass them on as I choose, and I will have a wee think about that. I am hoping to stitch some of them, but there will definitely be some left over to share. She was also kind enough to include this kit, which is an Ursula Michael kit called My Craft Room. So that's fun. Lots of different crafts. My craft room space doesn't look that tidy. Anyway, so that's another one that we'll probably share at some stage. Terry, thank you very much. There was also a very beautifully wrapped little package on the inside of the envelope in this, and ribbon, and oh, it was beautiful. But it came accompanied with a card that looks like a teapot quilt. How adorable is that? I love it. Thank you. Thank you for your kind words, Terry. As I said, you didn't need to do this, but thank you so much. Inside the little package, there was this beautiful wooden hoop stand. Oh, let me get a hoop. Sorry, I knew I would forget. So this is a little carved wooden piece. It's got a nice little tag on it, and you pop your finished embroidery hoop in there so that it can be on display. I think that is fabulous. I love it. Thank you, Terry. I think it's so neat, and it's so fuss-free. It's not cumbersome. I love it. I love the simplicity of the design of that. So thank you for the little stand, Terry. She added a little note on this. So if you are Australian, this came from Cloud Den in Melbourne, Australia on Etsy. So it's Cloud Den, Melbourne, Australia on Etsy. Okay. And then I opened this, pulled out this, and I thought, oh, what fun, look at that. And indeed, it's called Funfair. Crafty Lenny, I believe, is the dyer of this fabric. It's a 32 count. I think it might be a Murano. It's either a Murano or a linen, but it's 32 count. It is gorgeous. If it's linen, it's very even. But it's beautiful, beautiful fabric. And just look at the colours in it. It is bright and happy and springy. And this is not something I would have been brave enough to buy myself. But now I am all thoughts of what could I stitch on this. So I'm thinking something in a single colour, perhaps. Maybe like one of Jacob's Modern Folk Embroidery pieces would be good on this. And what colour would you stitch on it? Let's see, what would your suggestions be? There's obviously all the kind of sorbet ice cream, cotton candy kind of colours in it. This particular side has more green and yellow. If I was to stitch on this piece, if it didn't use the piece as a whole, it's beautiful. It's really, really beautiful. So what do you think? What would you stitch on a piece like this? Give me some ideas, something to mull over in my mind while I consider how I might use this one. So this is just, again, for those of you in Australia, from Crafty Leeny. Sorry, maybe not Lenny. I think I said Lenny before. Crafty Leeny, Leeny, in Queensland, called Fun Fair. Terry also included a 40 count natural linen, which is gorgeous, as natural linen is. It's so tiny. 40 count. Yeah. I might need to turn the light up for that. For a 40 count. I don't have any 40 count, so I'm really interested to see if I can stitch on it. It's definitely an aspiration to move up the counts. I'm very happy and very comfortable with 32. I've edged a little bit into 35 and 36. It would be nice to be able to pull off the challenge of 40 count. I can't imagine that I'm gonna find it easy. But I'm encouraged because I was watching, oh, I forget who the other day, but they were saying, one of the bigger Flosstubers, and they were saying you can definitely train your eyes out of the smaller counts and into the higher count of fabric. So there's hope for me yet, and thank you so much, Terry, because I will enjoy giving that a go. And the linen is just beautiful. The natural linen colour is just gorgeous. Now, Terry is a collector of buttons, and I think she may actually have a little business selling buttons, because she has chosen some and sent them to me on a business card. So I think that's her business card. Bygone buttons. And how cute are they? So these buttons from Terry, they're so cute. There's obviously the koala, and then these two, which she tells me are brushed celluloid from the 1930s, 40s. I think they will be beautiful finishing buttons. This one obviously speaks to a Valentine's project. This would be gorgeous in the center of a biscornu, I think, if the colors were right. So Terry, thank you so much. I really appreciate your thoughtfulness and sending me these gorgeous little buttons, the wonderful fabric, and all the charts that I can share. Thank you very much, very, very much. Now it is time to tell you who is the share winner. So last video I explained that I was going to pass along my one of my charts. The other one has already been passed along because I had 2 copies of these graciously gifted to me. So I have one left, and I am going to pass it along. It was the share competition from the last video. I did the random YouTube comment picker just before I recorded here, and the winner is Susan Johnston. So Susan, hopefully you'll be watching and you will learn that you are the winner, and you will be able to get in touch with me. You can use the email address in the drop down box below, or you can use the direct messaging function on Instagram. I am SoMeSarah there. And just get in touch, give me your address, and I will get this in the post to you as soon as I can. Thank you everybody for your interest in the chart. It was a popular one, and I'm glad that it is going to be passed on and shared with other folks who would also like to stitch it. So Before I go, I want to just mention a couple of Flosstubers that I have been enjoying. So first of all is a Flosstuber who is new to me, and she is German and I believe from Hamburg in Germany, and her name is Ilonka and her channel is called Ilonka, and I will link that below. I have really enjoyed watching Ilonka's last few videos since I think I heard about her from Cross Stitch, and I popped over to have a look, and I have found her to be very interesting. I love her projects. I love what she has to share. She shares some cultural information, and it's all very educational over there, so, and fun as well. So so do pop over and say hi to Ilonka, let her know that you came from my channel if you do. And just let her, I hope that you'll just go and see, because there's lots to learn from other stitchers, and I have really been enjoying her. The other stitcher who is brand new is Marie, and Marie is has a channel called Stitches and Diamonds. I apologize, I'm not, all the words are tumbling around. It's Friday afternoon and I'm tired. So sorry, Marie. Marie is Stitches and Diamonds on Instagram and now on YouTube, Flosstube. She had her first video out, I think just after my last video. She may have number 2 out, I haven't actually checked yet, but I did subscribe, so it will be in my list if she has. Marie is based in the UK, but she is not originally from the UK. And she is just lovely. She stitches beautiful projects. She is a real natural on the camera, and I think that you would enjoy her. So, so do go over and have a peep and say hello to Marie and give her some encouragement. I'm looking forward to catching her next video when it comes out, or if it's already out, as soon as I have time this weekend. So I'm really looking forward to that. There is another Flosstuber who I owe an apology to, and that is Susie at Stitch with Susie. Susie, you contacted me and you asked me if I would share some information about a design that you have released as a fundraiser for Ukraine. And I said I would, but on my last video I forgot completely. It passed me by, and I'm really, really sorry. So I have been trying really hard to remember to do that today. So Susie is on YouTube here at Stitch with Susie. She is also a newish Flosstuber. I think she has 2 videos out. I have watched most of the second video, in which, her second video, which is a special about Ukraine, and she shows some of the traditional Ukrainian handcrafts, needle crafts as well. Sorry, I'm doing this because she's wearing a beautiful Ukrainian dress, cross-stitched dress. Susie is married to a Ukrainian man. They lived together in the Ukraine for 5 years. I think she said 2010 to 2015. But they're now in the UK, but obviously they'll be very affected by what is happening in Ukraine, and I'm sure her husband has family and you know, people that they know and love and are concerned about at a time such as this. So anyway, Susie contacted me along with a number of other Flosstubers and just let us know that she was releasing this pattern, and 100% of the profits of this pattern, which is available in her Etsy shop, I will link that below, 100% of the profits is going to the British Red Cross Appeal for Ukraine. So if you like the pattern, want to help, want to stitch it, then please go and order that from Susie's shop. It's a gorgeous geometric design in the colours which we are becoming all too familiar with now, but it's another way of showing your support with the funds going to a good cause. So Susie, I really am sorry that I forgot about this for my last video, but hopefully when my viewers here see this, it will be another little nudge to the sales in your shop, and therefore to the donations that you are able to make to the British Red Cross. There's obviously still lots of designers out there who are creating designs specifically for fundraising purposes or for awareness raising purposes. So we have lots that we can make use of, and of course we can support the Ukrainian designers directly by ordering from their websites, and Laura had provided the links to Google Documents to help us find our way to those. I will try and link those again today actually for you. So there'll be some information of that nature down below as well, just if you are still interested in that, which I hope you still are. So I hope that I will be back in a couple of weeks to share some more stitchy goodness with you. It is going to be Mother's Day this weekend in the UK, so we are having a family brunch on Sunday, and we're doing that to honour my wonderful mother-in-law Sandra, who watches. So hello Sandra. We're very much looking forward to having you over on Sunday, Charlotte especially. Not that Alan and I aren't, but you know, Charlotte's always very keen to see Granny coming. So we're having a family day on Sunday, and we're looking forward to that. And I know that I would be lost without my mother-in-law, whose heart is made of gold, and constitution is also, because she's a strong woman, and I'm very glad that strong women run in the family line. So Charlotte, yeah, she's been blessed with strong genes. We're looking forward to that. I'm also looking forward to Andrew, my lovely son. He's coming home from university on Tuesday. It's a shame he can't join us on Sunday for brunch, but he had stayed on a little bit later at university this term, and he will be back on Tuesday for his Easter break. So that will be nice to see him again and have my little family of 4 all back together in the same house for another little bit. Probably until his bedroom floor is covered in clothes, and then I'll be glad to shoo him back to Durham. But you know, that's how it goes, isn't it, when kids are this age? So as I said, hopefully I'll see you in another couple of weeks, which should be just probably before Easter. And in the meantime, I wish you all well. I hope that you will stay well and stitch happy.